So, hello everybody. Welcome to this evening's select board meeting. It's Monday, August 4th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at Full Hall. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have in presence this evening Brad Peacock, Tony, Zoe. We are missing Naomi and Mike. We'll proceed. Okay, does anybody have a conflict of interest with anything on the agenda this evening?
No.
Gentlemen. All right. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at the minutes from the July 21st meeting at 6 p.m.?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Does anybody have any amendments to that set of minutes?
No, nothing from me.
Okay. Then I'd like to call for a motion to approve the minutes as they are.
I have to abstain.
Okay. Oh, wait, we can't do this.
Right.
Because
We don't have a quorum
enough
to
people.
vote upon it.
No.
All right,
Okay.
so we will table that. So item number 3, our review of minutes. We're going to review the July 21st, 2025 minutes at the next meeting of the Shaftsbury Select Board. All right, item 4 is announcements and updates.
I think I have one. I'll always kind of have an update about the building
Yeah.
progress.
Of course, yeah.
And now, this week and next week, we're focusing on the HVAC system. We're going to have central air.
Oh,
We're
my
so
goodness.
excited. I know,
Awesome.
I have to calm down about that. There are like 3 or 4 units on the top of the building, and Hometown Heating and Cooling, which is a Shaftsbury company. Everyone
Awesome.
working on the building is from Shaftsbury, which is good. They're pricing out the heat pump mini split, because even though it has central air, we need a heat pump mini split involved to keep that at a certain temperature.
Oh, yeah, and probably also humidity and
Yep,
stuff like this.
and he'll be going over this week to just inspect the ducts and the units and get us on like a maintenance schedule.
And come up with some sort of plan probably for
Yeah,
slow
but he didn't.
5-year
Yeah, but he didn't
replacement, 10-year
seem
replacement, yeah.
like horrified at the state of them. He was
Great.
like, "Yeah, they're good. We'll keep
Good.
them going."
We'll
Like,
just come up
that's
with a
what I
little
like to
plan
hear.
where you do
Yeah.
one every
Yeah.
couple of years.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Great. Okay.
So that's really the only update there.
Perfect. Do either of you two gentlemen have any announcements or updates? I myself do not. Does any? No? Okay. Then let's move on to item 5, which is warrants. Let's take a look at this evening's
I highlighted the ones that are over.
warrants. All right. So first, I'd like to call for a motion to approve check warrant report 26004.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh no, we've got
No,
after.
wait, right.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
But you know,
This is the one I just cannot get down, but we're getting there. All right. So taking a look, this is in the total amount of $70,277.68. We've got a couple of items on here. I'm looking at A&K Agri Services LLC for $1,198.57.
DPW gravel.
And then same vendor, 1572.48.
Yeah, it's all the same.
All right, and then I've got down here All Climate Hydraulics LLC for $1,369.85.
DPW oil and diesel.
GA Boat Fuels, $1,966.64. I'm assuming it's also-
DPW diesel. A lot of fuel.
Ford Credit Municipal Finance to $24,927.27.
Mhm, that's a lease payment.
Okay, that's really simple.
Yep.
Matt Morse Excavating, $1,800.
Sorry, where is he? Culvert work for the DPW.
Peckham Industries,
That's
Or-
all gravel,
that's all gravel.
and it's
right?
3 of those will be reimbursed by a grant.
Oh, that's great. The
which
ones that
is-
say grant,
yes.
PR.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Great news.
We started coding them with things that will be reimbursed with
So we
grant.
know that we're getting that,
Yes.
that's like $6,000 back. That's great.
Yep.
Okay, Sycamore Landscaping, $3,208, and then
That's,
$1,600. Cemetery.
Mowing for cemetery and the parks and offices.
Great. Okay, and then one more is Weaver Excavating, $3,000. It's invoice 8370.
Yep, excavator rental for the culvert project, and the grant will reimburse that.
Okay, so I'd like to call for a motion to approve this warrant.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, you're
Sorry.
calling for the motion?
Second.
All in favor?
You
Aye.
guys have to be on your toes.
All right, thank you both. Thank you for bearing with me.
Payroll warrant.
All right. So I'd like to call for a motion to approve, I don't have to do it every time.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you don't, not until.
Well, we have to, at the end,
Yep.
yeah, each one.
Yep.
All right, check warrant report PR 03 in the amount of $20,927.53. Let's see if there's a second page. The item just out. Okay. I'd like to call for a motion to approve the check warrant report PR 03.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
One more warrant, Zoe.
All
For
right.
like Social Security, health equity.
Benefits.
Yep.
All right. Taking a look at check warrant PRW01 with a total employer expense of $12,932.31. I'd like to call for motion to approve this.
So moved.
Second.
All right, thank you both. And then I think that's it.
That's it for warrants. Yep.
I have a question here, Paula,
Yeah.
procedurally. We're going to move into public comments, but shouldn't it be that this is for public comments that are not specifically related to Twitchell Hills?
That's right.
It's Item
Any
7. Okay,
Generic public comments.
awesome. All right, so item number 6 is public comments. If you have any comments that are not about item 7, which is the Twitchell Hills. Okay. Item 7. So now we'll move into the special public comment section with regard to the proposed change in the speed limit on Twitchell Hill Road, which would be, as we've discussed in previous meetings and as residents of the road are aware, would be lowering the speed limit to 25 following a speed study and a lot of feedback from the community. And we wanted to open up the space to anybody who would like to comment about that as we put it under review to perhaps make that change. Anybody have any?
Any public comments on that? No?
No.
I received a letter from the neighbors. They were all CC'd, so I'm assuming they are all in agreement here, and they are very much in favor of it. So
Okay,
I have received it
so that
this
is
way.
what public comment is?
Yes, and this was prompted by the comments we made at the last select board meeting, and the fact that it was put in the banner as well, to contact me, which they did.
Great.
Yes, I'll be
Okay.
working with the state to see
Yeah.
what are the next steps.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, that's great. So item 8, let's take a look at the treasurer's report. Who'd like to come join us?
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Thank you for joining us.
This is going to be more interesting than usual.
Oh.
Yep.
That's it. Maybe good.
I don't mean to oversell it, but we had our external auditors were in last week, and I won't give the boring every detail of it, but we said something to Jordan, the main auditor, that got him all excited. And if we're no longer accounting for interest on a fund-by-fund basis in the reserve accounts, that opens up the possibility of getting rid of the reserve a bank account altogether and pooling all of our resources into a single bank account. And that's advisable, actually, from a fund accounting perspective for multiple reasons, which I also won't bore you with unless you really want the detail. But it solves a perennial problem of cash flow towards the beginning of the year. We won't have to even envision taking out a line of credit anymore going forward. It's a completely different way of keeping track of the cash position in each of those reserve accounts. So it's going to take some getting used to, but it's exactly the same as it used to be. It's just not in a different bank account. So when we look at if we could look at the cash flow for July 1st, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about, and you'll see what it looks like. So that was our that's the money in. You see that $100,000 inter-fund transfer there?
Yes.
We talked about that last time. That was me basically moving $100,000 from the reserve account so that we would have that money to use in the short term. So basically what I did at the very end of July was I said, okay, that was a good start. We're going to move all the rest of the cash over too. So you'll see how that happens later. But that was sort of before Jordan was even here. I had done that just to deal with our short-term cash flow issue. So I think we already talked about most of this. So our first quarter of highway state aid came through. The prebate is the municipal portion of the the prebate that we get from the state for property taxes. We can go down to the bottom half here. Those are the payrolls and the AP warrant. That cash balance, as you can see, that includes the $100,000 I already borrowed, so we would have been underwater if I hadn't done it. So go to the very bottom of that. So you can see the reserve fund was $611,000. So now we look at the reserve spreadsheet, also for July. So that's what that looked like. You can see the $100,000 came out there at the 290 level, 290 line. And that's, you used to seeing that every month, as long as I've been doing this job. Now let's look at the reserve funds as of today. That's right to the right of that one. Look, yeah, that one. See all those zeros?
Yeah.
I took all the money out.
Okay.
So now this is not going to be worth looking at anymore because all you're going to see is zeros. I'm closing down that account altogether. I've already talked to our bank guy. I've already had municipay. Water payments are going to go into this account. I remembered that at the last minute. That was a good thing I did. All municipay payments are going into the what has been the general fund checking account. So now let's look at the cash flow as of today. There you see the $611,000 landed here. So, and that's
Awesome.
the accumulated interest is also what had been accumulating in the reserve account. Now all the interest is going to be in a single, which is much better. Yeah. So that's, and you go scroll down to the very bottom. There you see other funds at August 4th are zero. We do not have any other funds. So everything's in this one place now. So the way that we'll be keeping track of the line by line, what used to be on that reserve spreadsheet will be in the, I don't want, as I said, I don't want to get too much in the weeds, but there is a report called due to, due from that you've heard me mention many times. That's going to say this money is due from these funds to the general fund or in the other direction. It mostly depends on whether you have been writing checks that will go. For example, we are writing a lot of checks that are drawing on the Lister's reappraisal fund because of the reappraisal that's going on right now. So what will happen if we look at the due to, due froms every month, we'll see that dropping down from the money owed to the general fund because we're writing checks on it. Eventually, if we spend enough money on the reappraisal, they'll come into parity and there'll be no more money either due to or from that fund. So I'll probably start showing you the due to, due from, and you'll get more familiar with that as we go forward because that's where the cash position of the reserve
Of
funds
all
will
of
go.
those other ones?
Yes.
Got it, okay.
Yes.
New way of tracking.
It's
Got
it's
it.
going to be completely
cleaner.
new
And
way.
it's simple and you can show us.
It's
Yeah.
not simple.
Not simple for you, but
It's
simple maybe
different.
for me.
It's
Good.
Not even for me.
It's not simple because there's going to be money that you're going to say, why is that money owing to the general fund? And then I'll explain that to you. And then you'll say, why is that money not? Why does the water fund look the way it does, for
Right.
example? So we'll get used to it, but I'll do that going forward.
Cool, that's awesome. Well, that's great news because now we don't have a consistent cash flow crisis at this period of the year.
It's never a crisis,
Yeah.
but it
Not a
is.
crisis, but
It's
it
always
never feels nice.
Always touch and go.
It is a
This
little
time of
bit,
year.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this time of year, we should be looking at a very small amount of money. And I mean, don't
Yeah, it's
think,
correct.
wow, we have all this money.
No, I
Because we don't.
understand what it is.
It's exactly the same amount we had before. We're just looking at it.
And we don't have to take loans or think about ways to.
Right. That was sort of the driving thing, is I did not want to get a line of credit when
Mhm.
interest rates were so
So high, yeah.
When we were doing it in the past, it was with very low interest rates.
Right.
So any questions about any of that?
No.
Good.
And I'm glad it's advisable from the standpoint
Oh,
of
he
the
was
auditor.
so
he
and that
was
it's,
as giddy as I've ever seen him.
That's
When
great.
he realized that we were open on this. And what he explained to me was that this has always been the advisable way to do fund accounting.
Mhm.
And NEMRIC, or any other sophisticated accounting program, is going to do it for you. If you don't have something automatic, then keeping track of the money
owing
owing
and due.
is
yeah.
very hard.
So that transition was really necessary in order to get us in a position where we could, as a town, even take advantage of doing
Well,
this way.
my predecessor is the one who brought in NEMRIC, but I don't think that he was sort of prepared to make that extra step of having NEMRIC do that very important job for you.
Yes,
So,
a big transition.
yeah. So I think it's always been a better way to do it. Jordan's so tactful, he never said 10 years ago, why don't you do it this way?
Mhm.
But as soon as he saw us opening, he went for it. So
That's great.
this is a better way to do it.
That's great.
Good.
Thank you for your hard work. Wow.
Oh, sure. I mean, this is what you paid me for. Any other questions about any of this? I didn't take a look at where we are versus budget, because it's too early in the year. There's no point. But in a couple months, we'll look at it again. Oh, I should say, the tax bills, I have not printed them yet. I think they're pretty much ready to be printed. I like to sit on them a while, because take a lot of close looks, because you do not want to be having to print them over again. I think they're in very good shape. It's less urgent now that we are not having to get them out as early as I thought we had to because of the cash flow. So that also makes it possible for us to wait for more of the changes to come through from the state before we mail them out, because otherwise that means remailing a bunch of issuing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good.
Okay.
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Moving on to the DPW report.
Have it in my hot little hands here. Okay, Mr. Yanati says, work being done in the next 2 weeks. Roadside mowing will continue on the west side of Shaftsbury, starting on White Creek Road. Mowing will continue on all roads toward the hollow. Road grading, Myers Road, Cross Hill, and Daniels Road, weather depending. Culvert replacements, Mountain View, Glaston View at both intersections of Daniels Road. Both existing culverts are not meeting state standards for out hydrologically connecting road segments. All this work will be funded from a V-Trans state grants we received last fall. We'll be working in this area for 2 weeks. Project will be completed by the end of next week. The next project being planned is a replacement of a bridge on Horton Hill Road. This project will be going on for the month of September. Horton Hill will be closed between Madison Road and Rollins Road at that time. He will put signage up, probably September 2nd to the 26th. And he'll have more on the project as we get closer to the end of August. And this project is funded from the V-Trans Structures Program grant.
Great.
Yeah, and then we've started to put the DPW report on the website, under the DPW
On the
page.
DPW page, and you can also get to it from Docs and Forms.
Right, so if you're wondering, what roads are being worked on this week, just go on the website, go to the DPW page, information will be there.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Paula, and thank you, Mike, and thank you to the DPW crew. So now taking a look at item number 10. We have with us this evening Jack Rossiter Munley to discuss the Bennington County Multicultural Community Center, which I think we've got a printout of. Better
Yeah.
you delivering a presentation, or how what are we doing?
I was going to.
Come on up.
Come on.
Thank you so much. So, first of all, thank you very much for having me. I am Jack Rossiter Munley. I'm the Director of Programs and Community Engagement at the Bennington County Multicultural Community Center. We are the local branch office of ECDC, which is a National Refugee Resettlement Agency. And so I'll give a little bit of background on kind of how we got here, and then the packet that you have is about the community projects and programs that we undertake. So refugee resettlement is fairly new for the southern part of Vermont, but it's been happening in the northern part of the state for a little over 40 years now. So it started here in the southern part of the state out of conversations that were happening mostly around regional economic development, looking at an aging workforce, looking at the different kinds of challenges that rural communities across the country face, and trying to find creative solutions. And those are conversations that started at this point about 7 years ago. But what that has then looked like is a refugee resettlement effort that started even sooner than people anticipated, because it was in response to the emergency needs that were coming out of the evacuations in Afghanistan in 2021. So ECDC, as a national refugee resettlement agency, opened up an office in Brattleboro in 2021, and then some of the families who initially came to Brattleboro actually found their permanent housing in the town of Bennington. And because of the outpouring of volunteer and community support for them, Bennington itself was designated as a separate resettlement site. And so what that means is you have your own relationship to the headquarters of the national nonprofit, and through them the State Department, to talk about your community capacity to welcome people, what family compositions make the most sense based on housing availability or lack thereof, as we all know, and also understanding how different groups are resettling in your area, so that there is some effort at coordinating the building of communities. Obviously, at the scale we work, that's can be challenging, but through this process, almost 200 people in the last 2 years have resettled in Bennington through our programs. And we support them in a number of different ways through the sort of direct resettlement and human services side of what we do. So that includes welcoming people at the airport, identifying housing, connecting people to employment, providing cultural orientation, and then on an ongoing basis, support as needed as people continue to adapt to life in a new country. As you can imagine, the needs that an individual or a family face can look very different. And so happy to talk more at some point about the sort of programs that underlie that work, but the main message is that we support people sort of as needed on an ongoing basis. The challenge there is that 82% of our funding was federal funding, because the refugee resettlement process is a federal one, and with the change in administration, that process was halted. So the refugee arrival process, as of January 20th of this year, was stopped. And so no one has arrived through that process since then. And that includes people locally who are waiting to be joined by family members, and it includes people who traveled very close to that deadline, who had family members with travel dates in late January or early February, who then are on an extended waiting period. Unclear when or how they may join their families here, not to mention the people who've been waiting years and years. So that is sort of the underlying nature of how we got here. What we do, in addition to directly supporting people, is we are also a multicultural community center. And so we undertake projects and programs that respond to the needs that we hear about most directly from the people who we work with most closely. But we always try and look at how those needs mirror those in the broader community, and design projects and programs that are responsive not only to the needs of those we work with, but also to the broader challenges faced by anyone who's a resident of Bennington County. Our work has really focused on the town of Bennington. We've made an effort, because our office is in downtown Bennington, to have folks resettle as close to downtown as possible. However, over time, even though arrivals are halted right now, we want to build out a welcoming network that extends throughout the county, so that one day, when resettlement begins again, we are more prepared than ever to welcome people from around the world and respond to the needs that they may have. The opportunity that we have is that many of the needs that people face are the same as those of anyone throughout the county.
Right.
There are specific barriers and challenges someone might face because they're adapting to a new culture, they're learning a new language, but the kinds of adaptations that you make for that are ones that tend to serve everyone. So if there are people who have arrived through the resettlement process, this is just one example, who are pre-literate in English as well as their own language, that's an experience that is true of many Vermonters. We have one of the highest literacy rates in the country. However, there are still tens of thousands of people in the state of Vermont who are functionally pre-literate. having systems in place that respond to these needs for the refugee population also serve those Vermonters. So the level at which we work to affect systems change is sort of on that level and trying to think about things holistically in that way. The three major projects and programs that you have in your packets that we've undertaken kind of all fit this bill. So the number one project is our public art program. So that was the collaborative transformation of the exterior of our space in downtown Bennington. Those are murals that were designed with input from members of the refugee community. They were designed by a number of refugee artists who resettled over in Brattleboro, and then they were painted during community painting days that brought together a wide variety of people so that it was a true collaborative placemaking experience. And the way that we want to build that project and program out over time is to continue to add to the murals that are in our area to create a marquee downtown public art area in Bennington that will be a place where people from all different backgrounds can come together, and people from many different backgrounds, including those who were born here and lived here their whole lives, feel they have had a hand in making that place. Something we've heard about very recently through our connection with ACT Bennington, the Alliance for Community Transformation, which focuses on youth health and mental health, is that there are many young people who don't necessarily feel that they have spaces that belong to them in downtown Bennington. That's a perfect opportunity for us to invite them into some of the work that we're doing, have them be part of this collaborative process, not only designing but also painting the extensions of those murals and finding other opportunities for public art. We've also undertaken a community gardening and farming program. The eventual goal is to have a network of gardens and farms that stretch throughout the county, which not only means that people from the refugee community will have more opportunities to grow and have access to not just healthy fresh foods, but also foods that are familiar to them from their own cultural backgrounds. But it also does then take a step towards addressing local food security issues and building a resilient local food network. And that is truly the scale at which we envision this building into. So we started last year with 2 community gardens. This year we have 6 different sites that are under collaborative land management, either with us, with other groups in town, or we have a couple of private landowners who have given us chunks of their land, and that is something that we are continuing to build out over time. Our largest partnership right now is also with the SVSU school district, and we're working with them to transform the grounds of Molly Stark Elementary School to be not only a place that can produce more food that can be used by the members of that community, but also to really make those grounds a natural sciences learning environment. And so we're always looking for additional partners, and especially throughout the county, who will be part of that project as it continues to grow. And then the other major project we have is a language learning center that brings together a large-scale multilingual collection of books and digital resources that would be really too much to ask of any one library to put together. We have had fantastic relationships with the public libraries throughout the county, but the reality of being a rural library is that there are only so many books outside of English that are ever going to enter into the regular circulating collection. Added on to that, the fact that there will never be a collection that doesn't have English as the dominant language. And so what we are working on creating in our space, in our multicultural center space in downtown Bennington, is a multilingual language learning library that has a large-scale collection with books in many different languages, as well as a wide variety of language learning tools that we can work alongside all of the libraries to create, but which can be much greater than the sum of its parts in terms of what it provides, not only for people who are here learning English, but also for any members of the broader community who are interested in learning a new language for those who already speak English. It is something where we are looking forward to the kinds of partnerships we can have with the schools and with other organizations and individuals who want to possibly practice learning Spanish from a native Spanish speaker. That person may happen to have come here as a refugee from Venezuela, but that doesn't mean that they aren't able to then share their knowledge in that way. Great. So our work continues to expand and continues to grow, and we continue to be wonderfully supported on the local level. Our main challenge right now is making up for the vast shortfall in the federal funding that originally underlay our work. So we are undergoing the transformation we always envisioned from being a mostly federally funded resettlement agency site to being a true sustainable human services and arts and culture nonprofit with deep local roots that responds to community needs and provides that welcoming network for people when they're coming from around the world. We're just making that transition on a much expedited timeline.
Okay.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah,
Impressive.
what don't you do?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
And you will eventually
If it's-
do that too.
Yeah, exactly. No, if it's something really cool, then we probably do it.
And if not, it's year
If not,
2028.
let
It's
us know.
not-
Exactly. Yeah. So part of our goal in the next 3 years is to continue responsibly growing throughout the county for all of our different projects and programs. And as I said, in terms of the underlying resettlement work, there is a limited pathway right now. People who have special immigrant visas can still travel to the United States, and those are, for the most part, people from Afghanistan and Iraq who worked directly with the U.S. military. As much as we are able to, we are still helping people who can arrive through that pathway, but that is fairly limited.
Yeah.
We would like to keep that going as much as we can, and then seek other opportunities to assist if we're able to.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, well, exciting to see how maybe we as a little town could partner with you all in the years ahead. I feel like one of the things that already strikes me is the gardening and farming program. I'm sure that we've got some land that maybe could participate in something like that. And I know it's been on our roster to do something of that nature, and it would be great if we could do that in collaboration with your organization.
We would love to do that.
And it would be really cool to see what people from around the world want to grow also.
Yeah.
It's always a wild thing. My wife is always like, did you know about this plant? And I never do.
How do you feel
And I
about
learned about
okra?
that.
You want to grow some okra?
Oh, she's from the South. We know all about
Yeah.
okra. We're from okra, yeah.
Also a big hit in the Afghan community.
Yeah,
So-
I've noticed that a lot. Yeah,
Right.
there's a lot of crossover now. There's dry, hot land, yeah. But yeah, Daddy, do you all have any comments, any thoughts, any questions?
It's great.
Grow bok choy.
Bok choy, yeah, I
There
like
you
that.
go.
Bok choy is great,
Now we're
yeah.
Yeah, the other part of the gardening and farming is also introducing and doing education around land management practices from around the world, many of those that are inspired by various indigenous cultures, and so being a conduit for that kind of knowledge locally.
Yeah.
Again, growing out of the resettlement work that underlies everything we do, but truly trying to live up to our name of being county-wide and being a true multicultural center that brings a lot of that throughout Bennington County.
Yeah, and it all is such unique knowledge and very interesting, and we will all have to learn how to work together as the climate. Actually, it's going to stay this. No, we're not going to be tongue in cheek at the select board meeting. But the climate, whether or not it is getting different, we will have to come up with some new
Yeah.
farming techniques
Yeah.
that others already have.
So basically what you're saying is your budget is now going to have to be through private donation.
Private donations or other grant funding.
And so if anyone wanted to donate, how would they do so?
They could do so, the easiest way would be you could send a check to 120 Union Street in Bennington, made out to ECDC BT with Bennington in the memo line. And then we also do have an online giving option through GiveButter. If you just look up the Bennington County Multicultural Community Center, you'll find our GiveButter page, and you can donate online directly there. People are also free to reach out to me. My email is jackrnbcmcc@gmail.com.
Great, thank you.
That's great, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, and we look forward to collaborating with you. Maybe we could also participate in something like where we could spread the word to members of the town about public art days and stuff like that. I feel like
Right.
that's something,
Yeah.
I'm sure there are young people in town here who might be interested in that and might also feel as though they don't have
Do you have a
a lot of
calendar on
places
your
to hang
website?
out.
We do, yeah.
Great. Okay, and let us know, and if there's anything specific you would like to do with us or that we can support you in as a town. And I know, yeah, I'm sure, yeah, for that.
Yeah.
would be-
Wonderful. Thank you all so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Please
Thank
feel
you.
free
Thank you
to
for
be
doing
in
this
touch
work.
about anything.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Great, so that was Jack Rossiter Munley. I feel like I'm like playing Jack off the stage. So we're gonna have a quick, so item 11 is discussion of Shaftsbury solar project status. I guess that's me. I'll
I think
do that.
so. Probably
Great.
we can figure it out between the two of us.
Yeah, very quick update.
delay.
Nothing has happened with the Shaftsbury solar project since,
There's a
I don't have the
delay.
dates right in front of me, but the developers reached out to the Public Utility Commission, the Vermont Public Utility Commission's clerk, asking for an update or a decision in their application, which I believe is Section 248 application, basically like their interconnection application to do this project. They are waiting, and it's been quite a long time.
Yeah, it's delayed.
And so we also sent in a request to the PUC. The town sent in a request, or the attorney did, or I'm not sure if she has yet, but she will be doing so on behalf of the town.
Yeah, on behalf of the
No one
town.
at this table has taken any direct action, but just also requesting that a decision
A
be
decision,
made or an update
yeah.
be released, because a lot of the town host agreement provisions are financial in nature, including like the purchase of a vehicle for the fire department. So we really need to know if the project is going to happen or not, as we are a financially like entrusted party under the provisions of the host town agreement. So the update is the developers reached out, so we also pinged the PUC and said, hey, what is up with this? Because it would be good for us to know for our planning purposes.
So the developer is still on board.
Developers still on board, and in their letter, they mentioned a couple of things, which is like the fact that right now the safe harboring under the end of 48E, which is like as the ITC ends on December 31st effectively, but for commercial solar projects will continue for 2 more years. There are a lot of factors at stake, and so they are on board right now.
Yeah.
Just wondering with all the
Yeah, they still would like to do
Federal
in their
money
letter. Well, they don't. They're going to be protected for a couple more years because it's corporate. They have a longer sort of like window, but they do have like some safe harboring and fiat concerns, which is definitely relevant to their ability to finance this project at its current rate. So basically, they did specifically mention in their letter, they were like, hey, you have to let us know whether or not we can do this because financially we need to know, otherwise I'm sure at some point it will no longer be a financially viable project. But at this moment in time, it still is. And so we will find out. And if there's an update from the PUC, we will appraise everybody, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
12, SFD equipment request.
Yes, I have that written out here as well.
Okay.
I think it's probably best that I just read it.
Yep,
Yes.
that sounds
Okay,
great.
from the desk of Joe Vatican. Okay, following is a request for expenditures for the fire department. They've received quotes from Reynolds and Sons and would like to proceed with the purchase of SCBA, which are the air packs.
Yes.
And they have a
Okay.
fund for that, and a battery charger. This would come from the SCBA sinking fund, air pack reserve fund. It's a replacement for one that is 15 years old and in accordance with NFPA standards, needs to be replaced along with the air bottle. This will keep us on a schedule that we've been trying to accomplish for the past few years. The battery charger is needed because the cost of buying alkaline batteries for the SCBAs is getting costly. They constantly need to be changed. Charging would be much more cost efficient. You will see that I have only one quote for the SCBA. That's because we only use one brand, and MSA has regional vendors, which makes Reynolds and Sons our seller. They're in the process of getting quotes on new replacement gear, and because the replacement gear everything has a shelf life. According to NFPA standards 1851, they need to be replaced every 10 years. I can see why. Okay, the past spring they had a drill where they found a couple of lengths of large diameter supply hose, 4-inch, had leaks. They'll need to go through testing for all of their 4-inch hose and start replacement program in the spring and fall. They currently have all 3 trucks, about 3,200 to 3,500 feet of hose. He's going to do a couple of lengths each year so we don't have one huge expense. And at $1,000 a length, we don't want to have to replace the entire hose bed. He's looking at maybe 300 feet or 3 lengths this year. Some of the hose we need to look at are more than 25 years old. I will get a firm quote by this fall. So helmets, 6 of them at $494.73, $494.73. Total cost of $2,968.38. Gear, 3 sets of coats and pants, approximately $2,200. Total cost $6,000. SCBA, 1 is $10,142.73. Battery charger, $1,039.28. And 3 lengths of hose, $3,000. There will, of course, be other unexpected equipment costs. What I have outlined is the big ticket items we have in mind for this fiscal year
Great.
and in budget.
Okay, and so these are all things from their reserve fund?
Yep, yeah.
And
But
they all sound very necessary.
they just want to put them past the select board and make sure all is well.
Of course.
Yeah.
That all sounds great to me. Do you two gentlemen have any questions, thoughts, comments?
No.
Okay, I sent this to you guys in the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
okay, that's it.
Oh, he talked about all that.
We did? He did?
He did when he came.
Yeah. when he came
Oh,
and he
okay,
gave
and this
us
is just the, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
well, this is it again with the numbers.
This is the
so,
specific,
Yeah.
yeah, the official request for funds.
Yep, okay,
From their own fund. Okay,
all right.
so that's the item 12 SMD equipment request. Item 13 is other business. Trying to remember if there's anything in particular
I have another business thing that we need to
that I have.
think about.
I don't think I don't have anything at this time.
Okay. I have what fire department and the DPW and I are deeming as a pretty, kind of an emergency thing we should be doing. So last week or the week before, we got a sinkhole in the fire department's, on the left side of their parking lot. And we've been wanting to pave this parking lot for a few years. So then I was speaking to our fire chief, Joe Vatican, who said, oh, incidentally, because I love hearing these PAC stories, and Art, you might know this too. So he said, back in the 50s, when the firehouse was built and they cut down all the trees for the land, they didn't grade the property and they left the tree stumps there after they...
Ouch.
You're smiling. So they left the tree stumps there and then paved over it, and
No.
how many,
Sure,
60
they
years
rotted.
later. So when the sinkhole happened, it was so deep that Joe could flip over a cone and put it in that way.
Wow.
It's really deep. So we got a quote last year. It was $20,000 to do it, but we're like, all right, put it through the bid process and we'll, do that in the spring and the summer. But now because of the sinkhole, it's an emergency. School will be starting in a few short weeks. So under, and the purchasing policy, I think it's section 7, says in emergency situations, we should be able to solicit a bid, go out and get it done. Now, what Mike has said, that they'll be happy to rip everything up, because this is not a job where you could just pave over what's there. I'm like, oh no, we are ripping that out, and then God only knows what is underneath, whether, sawdust from the tree
Yeah,
trunks
tree
to
trunk rotting.
to get a proper, underneath layer to make it safe for fire trucks, for parents dropping off the kids at school. I think my suggestion is to get this done immediately, because if we do it, we have to do it before school starts.
Yeah.
That's a question.
Yes,
How many trees did they leave, Art?
Yeah.
You don't remember?
but you remember.
If that sinkhole was created by 2 or 3 trees, that's great, but if they left 10 trees, that entire
The whole
area has to be
thing.
ripped up.
I know, and I'm like,
Entire
well,
thing.
what's,
Did they leave them underneath where the structure is as well?
that's what, well, that was my kind of facetious question, and I was like, oh, I'm surprised
Yeah.
the floor hasn't sunk in. Then I
Yeah.
went, oh God, the floor,
Yeah. Oh, no.
Why would they do that?
Yeah,
No.
They did not do that.
You've got a foundation.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, my first question was, does it have a basement? I was like, it has a basement.
And then over the years, like they put another water pipe under there as well, having something to do with the school. So it's been like futzed with over the
Okay,
years,
so it's just the
but
parking lot.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
The upper parking lot, right?
call for some bids.
When
Yeah.
you drive past the fire department,
Yeah.
you see all the cones, because Mike
Right,
patched
yeah, I
it.
saw the cones over there. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, what are
Mike,
we doing? I didn't
but
realize
it's
it was a
right in the
sinkhole.
middle, like if you're dropping your kid off and
Right.
it's
So
like right in the
the
middle.
upper part, because it goes down to the
Yes.
school. Okay.
Yeah, it's on the
Before
left
I
side.
lived here then, this was like 30 years ago.
We weren't around in the 50s,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, yes, please.
It's kind of
I
an
think-
emergency.
yeah.
Mike's called the people, I forget
Right.
Bodwin Paving. Will you honor the price you gave us last year? Yes. And Mike's like, we'll, if they say yes, we'll go over tomorrow.
They said
and
they'll
rip
honor that price?
out. Yeah, from last year.
Wow.
Wow, that's
'Cause it was a
very
bid.
crazy.
This
Yeah.
is,
In a good way, positive.
they've done an awful lot of work with the town over the years, and they're an established vendor. So I said, Mike, I'll take you to the select board I just don't think school bus is going over that.
I also have something else.
What?
Somebody left us like 20 grand last year and in the state, as long as we used it for something for the school.
Oh, right,
Oh,
yes.
That's
Can't we
right,
use
but
that
this isn't the
Yes.
school, it's the,
It is affecting
But it is the school. Okay,
This is for-
yeah.
that's
Yeah, I mean, you
right.
do not want your
Yeah.
child to fall into
Okay.
a
Exactly.
sinkhole.
You're right,
Was
so
it
I can
like
contact
20 or
Rob.
$50,000 or something?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's
it
something
was-
to look
yeah.
into, certainly.
Yep,
Good
Yeah.
thinking.
you're right, you're
We
right.
sat on
Good
that,
job,
yeah.
See
Jen.
what the, yeah,
Good,
good
thank you.
memory.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
one of those, someone
Cha-ching.
passed away and
See
we
what
got
the
the money.
provisions in the
Yep.
language
Yeah.
are, and I'm sure we could check with them and see
Yeah. I
if
think
it
it
would
was
be.
50.
It had to
57.
benefit it had to benefit the school.
Yeah, 57.
I forget what the amount.
Any
It was
amount
under
would
100
be,
grand, but
Yeah.
it was
would be
over,
better.
It was over 30, I know that.
Yeah.
With those
Oh,
kind
that
of
would pay
provisions,
for
do
it.
we normally check in with the family and see if the expenditure like meets their definition of that?
As long as it benefited
I don't think so,
the
I think
school.
it's in the,
Yeah.
in the
Purview of the
paperwork
town.
that we
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
when the trust is
Yeah.
signed and all that. But that's a good
Okay.
idea,
But yes, that is not good for children if there are giant holes forming in the ground.
I mean, that's how deep it was.
Yeah,
You
that sounds
put,
child-sized.
Uh,
That sounds me-sized, but I'm child-sized. So.
Wow.
Wow. Well, you know, these things happen.
Any comments, any like, yes, no?
I'm glad nobody has been hurt thus far, and I'm glad you're looking for an expedient solution to a problem.
I would say this is an emergency
I think
situation.
it
Nothing's
seems
on
pretty-
fire, granted.
Seems
Yeah.
pretty
Knock
emergent.
wood.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we don't want anyone
That
falling
could be a
through.
big accident.
Yeah. It's a hazard to town
Lot of people.
employees and
Employees, citizens, school
and-
children.
and the kidlets, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Well, thank you for bringing it to our attention, and thank you, Mike, for promptly getting underway with the solution.
right. So just let me know if I have the green light so I can tell them.
Any other booby traps?
Oh, God. Can you imagine if someone was like walking by and,
Yeah,
Um,
and then went. And then
I would
went.
call for a motion to approve Paula's ability to look for, to pay them to do that.
So moved.
and then look into the
Estate,
Yeah.
the estate money, because that would,
that
Yeah, I
helped a
can't
lot.
remember who it
Second.
was.
All in favor? Aye.
Madison, the
All
Met,
right,
maybe.
so therefore, Paula, please take
Yeah,
it.
I'll talk to Rob about it tomorrow and look.
Great. Not really sure if we need to vote on that one, but I just figured
Yeah.
why not?
I know. I just didn't want to be like, hey, guess what, we're paving.
Yeah, no, that's very important, and thank you for bringing it to us.
And then it'll be done, and it'll be done properly, and
Right.
oh, I can't imagine what's under there. I want to go over after it's
Yeah.
pulled up and look,
It's
Yeah.
one of those things, yeah,
take some pictures.
old things, old structures.
Yeah, and that's,
There's always some mysteries to, they always appear.
yeah. That's all I have for other business, and boy,
Okay.
that's some other business.
All
Yeah,
right.
I know.
Well, that's interesting. So any action items following this evening? I don't think it's
Just,
Just me.
just
Yeah.
Yeah.
you to look at. You said
Look into-
Bowdoin?
Yeah, but
Bowdoin.
Baldwin.
Bowdwin. I
Baldwin.
I didn't get the spelling from Mike, I'm just
Yeah.
doing it phonetically. Bowdwin.
And,
Yeah. We get that ball rolling.
and to look into the speed limit, which I know is on your list,
Yep.
and like what we have to actually
I actually
do.
sent an email today to the state,
Great.
and I'll follow up.
I think they have to approve it, don't they?
They do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
It'll be a whole thing, but we'll get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, great. Well, with nothing else, I would call for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and so thus concludes.
Okay.
Now we have 10 minutes
Recording stopped.
before the water board
And
meeting.
then it's water board time.